Mahomes. No, they're asking a lot. They're asking the best player in the world to go be the best player in the world, and he will be. But by doing this on defense, what they're saying is, but if you're not, we might be able to win anyway. Which has been the Chiefs' dynasty formula was when Mahomes is great, we never lose, and when Mahomes isn't great, we can still win, and we think in the playoffs he'll consistently be great. You know, that's been the formula, and I do think if you have a better defense, he will be more comfortable taking more chances than he has been comfortable taking the last couple of years, not necessarily having to be so cautious. But I think the Chiefs, I didn't think they needed to upgrade the offensive line. They have 4 either highly drafted or highly paid offensive line starters already. They have invested heavily via the draft in the wide receiver room. We will see if those guys are reliable on and off the field, but you can't, in my opinion, if you're trying to keep a dynasty running, chase the rabbit of we might have missed that pick, let's see, as opposed to addressing obvious needs. So what they are trying to do in this draft is duplicate the 2022 draft, which is what, along with Patrick, Andy, Chris Jones, and Travis, this is one draft.
Yeah.
After they traded for Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
And that is how many games those guys have played for Kansas City. Trent McDuffie, all-pro, and then traded for first-round pick and then some. George Karloff, the starting edge. Brian Cook just got a huge contract in free agency. Leo Chenal got a big contract. Josh Williams started 75 games at corner. Jalen Watson got a big contract. Pacheco, a late-round running back. They're saying, let's do it again. And the other thing, Greg, they did this offseason in signing Kenneth Walker, and I like Emmett Johnson. He led the Big Ten in rushing yards, is they're trying to get the Chiefs and Patrick off this graphic, which is unspeakable. No 1,000-yard rushers. That's his whole career. It's them, the Chargers, who spent a first-round pick on Omarion Hampton. The Saints, who it's weird because they had Kamara, but they throw the ball to him so much. Broncos, who spent high draft picks on running backs. And again, Washington's half the amount of time. Make people respect the running game so it's easier to throw. So, yes, they're asking a lot of Patrick, but I think it's the right way to go about it.
Yeah, I'm with you, Nick. Look, I don't think it's asking anything more than what we've seen them ask him in the last few years. I think a lot of times when we look at the draft, especially when we have a team like Patrick Mahomes and a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, who we deem being the best in the business, and you know there's been issues surrounding the positions that he's dependent upon and are dependent upon him, it's like, man, how can we improve that immediately? And we want to see that improvement with draft selection. They have, to your point, they have drafted at that position, and they've drafted well. The availability of those guys is what has impacted that offense drastically. We also look at the draft and forget that things prior to the draft are reasons why teams go about the draft a certain way. Once you get Kenneth Walker, you are saying, and you pay him the amount of money that they signed up to pay him, you are saying we are going to establish our running game. Mm-hmm. This is a way that we are going to help Patrick Mahomes and our passing game, and it doesn't have to be directly it show up through the draft. Defensively, they had to address all these moves. They had to do this in the draft defensively because of what they were willing to part ways with and what they knew they didn't have.
Yeah, I also feel like by getting Kenneth Walker, they addressed a huge need. So you brought up the no 1,000-yard rusher. Last year, they were 25th in the league in rush yards, and a lot of that was Mahomes.
Yeah.
And the year before, they were 22nd. So getting Walker should help that, all right? Then what they need, their receiving room, they need to stay healthy and sober-minded, all right? Rashee Rice is a Pro Bowl caliber receiver. He's great yards after the catch. He just got to be available. So if he's available, that's a number.
So, yeah. Okay. I'm really excited to talk about this because I've been waiting to talk about this, all weekend long. Before I jump into it, like we are winning right now, Kansas City Chiefs. We are winning right now because for so long, we have such intense Patrick Mahomes fans. That's different than just Kansas City Chiefs fans. And no matter what I say, they're like, you're so biased. You're so biased. You're such a hater. And I was reading some of those comments and then it dawned on me because I made a few videos about the Kansas City Chiefs talking about how I really want them to go offense, etc. And I realized that like I was actually getting a ton of new subscribers, from those videos. I was getting a ton of other comments that were like, yeah, I totally agree with you, etc., etc. Which has been a long time because for so long, any Kansas City Chiefs video that I make is so saturated with such extreme biased Patrick Mahomes fans that no matter what I say, I'm a hater. I'm biased. And it doesn't even make any sense cause I said, oh, you know what? I would have liked them. I was like the Kansas City Chiefs didn't have a bad draft, but I was like I would have liked them to go more offensively, and people in the comments, some of them were like, oh my gosh, you're so biased, no matter what the Chiefs do you just can't give them credit, and it's like that's not even remotely true. Then I went back to my video from last year during the draft day. Andy said that the Chiefs had an awesome draft and I love this one, and everyone was like, oh did they reach too much on round 1, and I was like, no, it was a great pick and it was a great gamble and all that, so it has nothing to do with it. It's just those people are so biased that they can't get past anything I say. They think whatever I say is biased, which is just hilarious. So, please, the real actual grounded Kansas City Chiefs fans, please do not forget to subscribe and watch the full length of the video. When you guys do that, views go through the roof, subscribers go through the roof, and then we can actually have real, honest, grounded Kansas City Chiefs conversations. And I dream of that day. I dream of that day. We are finally diluting the people that are so extreme and so biased that they hijack every single Kansas City Chiefs conversation that we can't ever have a real conversation. And even if you disagree with me, it's not based out of bias. It's just, yeah, I just disagree. Oh my gosh, I didn't know you could disagree with someone and not be based and rooted in bias. So, please, Chiefs fans, continue to rise to the occasion. You've been doing awesome these last, this last week or so. So, but yeah, listen, I do appreciate what the Chiefs did, defensively. Okay, like again, it's not a bad draft. It's not that these are mistakes that the Kansas City Chiefs have made, but I do think they're asking too much of Patrick Mahomes in this moment of time. And I already made a video before unpacking the whole 1000 running back, etc. etc. As someone who actually watched Kenneth Walker and every single Seattle Seahawks game, okay, a lot of you guys didn't. How do I know? Because I kept saying that the Seattle Seahawks are an elite team, top team in the NFL, and Super Bowl contender, and a lot of people said, no, they're not. So, that's how I know a lot of you guys did not actually watch the Seattle Seahawks. I did. I watched every single game. I took notes and made videos on every single one of their games. Kenneth Walker is a really, really, really good running back. He's a great running back. People are trying to act like he is, Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley or, Christian McCaffrey or this. No, he's going to help the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs will absolutely benefit from having a Kenneth Walker. Undeniable. Not denying that. But that is not the missing link for this offense. And what Nick Wright said made no sense to me because he's like, oh, when he now that they're improving the defense, he'll feel more comfortable taking chances in a way that he didn't feel that he could the last couple years. The defense has been great the last couple of years. That's the thing. The defense has been great. Okay. Has it been top 2 in the NFL? No. Although in 23 it certainly was. 24 it certainly was. Like these have been elite defenses. So to say that like Patrick Mahomes wasn't willing to take chances or something, that's incorrect. He was taking chances and he was getting burned. And then before you guys said that he didn't take chances or that when he did it wasn't working out because he didn't have the receivers. So like none of the conversation makes sense. We just keep twisting ourselves. And then the whole thing of just saying, oh well, as long as Rashid Rice and Xavier Worthy stay on the field, everything's dandy. That is incorrect. That is incorrect. How do I know? Because I went through the numbers. I went through the data last season when everyone was there. When Kelsey was there, when Mahomes was there, when Worthy was there, when Rashid Rice was there, it was not good. It was not good. Patrick Mahomes had a 57.3% completion percentage, 1,400 yards, 6.8 yards per attempt, 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and a passer rating of 72.3. Okay. He had one of the lowest adjusted completion percentage. So, factoring in drops, etc., at 69.2%. The other ones that were down that low were Shader Sanders, congratulations, and Caleb Williams, who had the lowest adjusted completion percentage in the NFL. So, yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. And if you want to say like, oh, but it was also the O-line and this or that. I've accounted for that because these are the quarterbacks that had during this it was a 6-game stretch that had the highest dropbacks with pressure. Okay. Jacoby Brissett tough 12 touchdown. 5 interceptions. Dak Prescott 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Jared Goff 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Geno Smith, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Jordan Love, 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Caleb Williams, because we'll remove Shador and Cam. Caleb Williams, 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Those were all quarterbacks that were all pressured within the same, within a relatively same range. So, it's not just, oh, well, the old line wasn't good. And he had his weapons. He had Travis Kelce, he had Rashid Rice, he had Xavier Worthy, and it wasn't good. It wasn't enough. And having Kenneth Walker there doesn't magically fix that. And quite frankly, the 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, a lot of that is juiced up because of that Dallas Cowboys game. Remove that Dallas Cowboys game who notoriously had a terrible defense who even, J.J. McCarthy cooked. Yeah, that J.J. McCarthy, Patrick Mahomes, if we remove the Dallas Cowboys game, had 1 touchdown, 7 interceptions, and a 55.4% completion percentage and a 61.88 passer rating. That matters. That matters. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes being a force multiplier. When you give him the weapons, the force multiplication goes through the roof. It goes through the roof. So yeah, I wanted to see them get that guy. Yes. Going on defense. You can this is what's so funny to me because you can find the value of defensive players in later rounds that can have a huge impact on your defense. But if you get that dude on offense to be Patrick Mahomes' next security blanket, his next true force multiplier, the impact and input on the field to help the team win is it's so much more massive. It's so much more massive. Put it this way. At the end of the day, what really helps Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs getting that brand new Travis Kelce or getting the brand new Chris Jones? If you can go back in time right now, not go back in time, but if you could pick a player to go back in time to bring here, what would immediately have the most massive impact on this Kansas City Chiefs team right now? And if let's just go back to last season, what would have helped? An absolute bona fide prime Travis Kelce. An absolute bona fide prime Tyreek Hill or an absolute bona fide prime Chris Jones. What would have truly helped them? And in those games with Xavier Worthy and Rashid Rice and Travis Kelce, 19 points per game. That's including the Cowboys game. 19 points per game. They averaged 19 points per game. Now Patrick Mahomes is older coming off of an injury. It's just yeah, I firmly believe they should be doing more to support him offensively, not just well with the defense and you don't have to score as many points and this and that. And it's just well, they expect Patrick Mahomes to be great in the playoffs no matter what. And it's this isn't 2018. This isn't 2019, he doesn't have the same level of mobility. He doesn't have the same level of physicality. Neither does Josh Allen. Neither does Lamar Jackson. Neither does Joe Burrow. Neither does Jalen Hurts. Like times change. That's what happens. That's what happens. The Kansas City Chiefs have been hanging on by a thread in 23 and 24. Yes, they won a Super Bowl. Yes, they got to the Super Bowl in 24. You all know it was not the same. Whether Rashid Rice or Xavier Worthy were there, it was not the same. You just know it. And you were relying heavy on that defense. I'm not saying that they need to go back to 2018 to 2019. Like this is where people keep getting everything so confused and mixed up. They take my one statement and saying, well, who cares about defense? Like someone in the comments section said, well, that's how you become the Cincinnati Bengals. I didn't say that. I didn't say your defense is now going to be a massive liability and terrible and you're going to have no O-line, no run game, and you're just going to have 2 wide receivers and that's it. Like, that's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying at all. Spags is also an elite defensive mind, an all-time great defensive mind. But your ultimate superpower is Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and the offense that you can build. And no one is saying that in order. I'm not saying, well, you got to go back to 2018. It's got to be a light show. It's not what I'm saying either. It's not what I'm saying either. But it's also not an etherer. It's not. Well, we either go back to the light show and have a terrible defense or we have an elite defense and an average offense. And if you just want to keep playing the whole, well, as long as we got Patrick Mahomes, guys, it's just other teams are getting better, other teams are growing, other quarterbacks are getting better, more experienced. Especially in 23 and 24, the Chiefs, anytime you're a dynasty, anytime you're great and winning a lot, a big part of it is taking advantage of the lesser teams, of taking advantage of the incompetent teams, of the incompetent coaches, GMs, etc. And the Chiefs, especially in 23 and 24, magnified that other teams are getting better. Other teams are growing. Let's say everything works out for the Los Angeles Rams defensively. We know offensively they will. You think if the Chiefs come out the AFC they can keep up with the Rams in that regard, that offense can keep up with Matthew Stafford, Tuka Nakwa, Devontae, Kyren Williams. You want to talk about Blake Corn, you want to talk about like run games and an attack, and that I mean they had the most successful rushing attack in the NFL, and they had Devontae and they had Puka and pick your poison for the tight ends, and they have Sean McVay, and now they went all in and built an elite defense, elite secondary, pass rush, etc. They had an elite O-line. Yeah. In 23 and 24 when the defense is able to really slow things down. What did the Eagles Seahawks, who had an elite defense? What did they do to the Los Angeles Rams? They couldn't stop him. The Houston Texans had an elite defense earlier on the season. Still didn't look quite like what it did against the Chiefs against the Bills. So, like this is all I'm trying to emphasize. This is all I'm trying to say. I'm just saying make things easier for Patrick Mahomes. When I'm showing you Patrick Mahomes stats here, I'm not like, see, Patrick Mahomes wasn't good enough. That's why it's always funny when people say like, oh, you're a hater of Mahomes and you're a bias or this or that. It's like, I'm not saying, see, Patrick Mahomes just wasn't good enough. Look at this. Jacoby Brissett was better than him. That's not the take. That's not the take. And I'm sorry, bringing in Eric the Enemy also doesn't magically change that either. And listen, I do think the offense will be better this year. I do think that as long as Patrick Mahomes obviously is fully healthy, the O-line should be better. The run game should be better. The pass game should be better. Mahomes individually should be better. I do believe that. But the whole thing is like you're looking at maximizing. I think that the Kansas City Chiefs, this is without a shadow of a doubt. These next 2-3 years will be the best chances that they have to win a Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes. After that, things are going to get weird. I promise you, things are going to get weird and they're going to get weird quickly with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. But really, Lamar Mahomes, and Josh, things are going to get weird with every day they get older. Those quarterbacks have played such a unique and wildly specific way of football and the way how that's going to age. Listen, man, it's going to be a lot closer to Russell Wilson and Michael Vick than it was, Tom Brady. Just is. And so it's like right now Patrick Mahomes plays another 6 years. These next 2-3 years are Patrick Mahomes' absolute bona fide best years he has left. These guys are only getting older and getting more injured. They're only getting slower. They're only starting to feel the hits a lot more than they did before. So, it's just like I would rather maximize Mahomes' force multiplication with great weapons around him. To me, that is what matters most right now. That to me is what matters most to me for sure. So, that's the way I see it right now. Again, it's not to say like again people they have such bias towards me that it's just like I say this and they're just like oh the Chiefs did everything wrong. They should just have a bad defense and it's like did I say that once? Did I say that the Chiefs failed the NFL draft? They messed everything up. Oh my God, they're the big losers of the weekend. Did I say that? Show me. Time stamp it. Show me where I said it. I am such a villain. I'm such a monster for saying, oh, they should help support Patrick Mahomes. Get him another elite weapon. Oh, I'm a monster. I'm the worst person ever. I am an absolute Kansas City Chiefs Patrick Mahomes hater. How dare I say that? I know, guys. I know. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Kansas City Chiefs? Are you worried that the Chiefs are asking too much Patrick Mahomes? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. This really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.